everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Friday, so we're doing Return to Collecting Top 50 Players of All Time. Today we're doing number 38. This was a really interesting player. I knew how good he was, but I didn't know a lot about his story, and it was just very, very interesting reading up on him and learning a lot more about his life and what he went through and how he did what he did. And I hope you guys enjoy learning about him as much as I did. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into number 38. All right, everybody, so number 38 is none other than Mr. Leroy Robert Satchel Paige. So what we got here is his 49 Bowman. It's his rookie card. There's a 48 leaf, but 48 leafs, as we know, were made in 49, so he's got a 49 leaf and a 49 Bowman. So got the rookie card, it's got the beautiful blue background. This one is a SGC 5. Picked it up at the National this year. I think is a beautiful looking card. I think it's really, really strong for a 5. There's the back of it. Super happy to pick this thing up. It's a beautiful addition to the collection. We have his 53 Topps, which I think is one of the best looking baseball cards ever made. This one is a PSA 1, because if you look right above his hat, there's a pinhole. Other than that, this thing probably, well, this corner's a little soft, but this thing probably could have got like a 2 or 3. Just absolute beautiful card, beautiful likeness. And here's the back. One of the things I like about having these two specific cards is played on 2 different teams in the major leagues, the Indians and the Browns. He also played 1 game for the A's, but we'll get into that when we talk a little bit more about him. On top of that, though, we also have a signature signed index card, Satchel Paige. It's a really nice signature. So, Leroy Robert Paige, born July 7th, 1906 in Mobile, Alabama. As a kid, Paige worked as a porter at a train station. Depending on which story you believe, he got his name Satchel for either carrying up 4 satchels at a time or because he would like to steal them. At the age of 12, he was sentenced to 6 years in the Alabama Reform School for juvenile Negro lawbreakers for truancy from school and theft. While in reform school, Reverend Moses Davis, a trustee of the school and also its baseball coach, saw Paige playing ball with some friends. He took him under his wing and realized that he had an incredible arm. He taught Paige his legendary leg kick. While at reform school, Paige became a pitching sensation. Upon his release in 1923, just shy of his 18th birthday, Paige said, "I traded 5 years of freedom to learn how to pitch. At least I started my real learning on the mound. They're not wasted years at all. It made a man out of me." Paige went on to play for local Birmingham teams. He had his first big theatric performance when he played for the semi-pro Down the Bay Boys. His team was up 1-0 in the bottom of the 9th, and his teammates committed 3 consecutive errors, loading the bases. Paige started kicking dirt and stomped around the mound. The fans started booing him for his lack of sportsmanship. He decided to turn things around for both the innings and his perception. He called in his outfielders and had all of his teammates sit on the ground. He then struck out the last batter, winning the game. Paige signed with the Chattanooga White Sox in 1926. The club agreed to pay Paige $50 per month and send another $200 a month to his mother. What a good son, right? He had considerable success in Chattanooga, and his contract was sold to the famous Birmingham Black Barons. He had issues with his control and hit a batter with his pitch. As a batter charged the mound, the bench is cleared. The police were called, and the newspapers in Birmingham claimed that Paige almost incited a riot. After that, Paige worked with his teammates and manager to improve his control. He ended the season 7-1. As he improved his control, he became a strikeout machine. He struck out 17 batters in a game, then a week later struck out 18 batters in a game. Since he was so good, the owner of the Barons would rent him out to other teams in order to get more fans to attend their games. Paige, of course, got his cut. Over the next 11 seasons, Paige played for a dozen different teams in 6 different countries before heading to the Kansas City Monarchs. He would pitch for them for 7 seasons, while also barnstorming. The owner of the Monarchs purchased a private plane to fly Paige to all of his barnstorming outsourced games. By the mid-40s, Paige was making about as much money as the Yankees paid Joe DiMaggio. due to all the extra money he would make doing the barnstorming. He continued to barnstorm and to help other teams out when needed. The Monarchs went to the Negro League World Series twice and once in 1942, won. In the 1942 series, Paige went 2-0 with a 2.2 ERA and 18 strikeouts. Paige continued to barnstorm with other major league players, including Bob Feller. Paige was signed by the Cleveland Indians in 1948 on his 42nd birthday. He was paid $40,000 for the remaining 3 months of the season, one of the highest paid players in the majors at the time. He was the oldest person to debut in the majors. He threw some pitches that, as broadcaster Jack Brickhouse said, were not quite legal, but not quite illegal. American League president Will Harridge decided that Paige's repertoire of pitches were illegal. Paige responded with, "I guess Mr. Harridge didn't want me to show up those boys who were young enough to be my sons." Paige was released by the Indians in 1949 and went back to barnstorming for money. He was then signed by the St. Louis Browns in 1951. He played a few more seasons and was named to the 1953 All-Star team at almost 47 years old. He continued to barnstorm until 1961. Yes, he was playing at 55. In 1965, at the age of 59, Paige played one game for the Kansas City Athletics against the Boston Red Sox. He pitched 3 full shutout innings. His final game was in 1966, about a month before his 60th birthday. He was a starter and pitched 2 innings in this game. Upon his final retirement, Paige took a job with the Atlanta Braves as an advisor. Since Paige spent the majority of his career in the Negro Leagues and as a barnstormer, his Major League Baseball career numbers weren't incredible, but that doesn't really tell his story. He pitched hundreds of games a season over 40 seasons, including when you include his barnstorming. He was the most feared pitcher in the Negro Leagues ever, and his longevity dwarfs that of even Nolan Ryan, and by some accounts, so did his fastball. And that's me saying that, guys, so you know that's pretty impressive. Paige was the first Negro League player elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1971 by the newly minted Committee on Negro Baseball Leagues. Now, Jackie Robinson was elected earlier, but he was elected for his skill and absolutely incredible contributions to Major League Baseball. To close out the segment with a fitting quote, Paige once said, "Age is a question of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter." All right, I hope you guys enjoyed number 38, Mr. Satchel Paige. Super interesting story, super interesting guy, very interesting life. Please leave your comments below if you agree or disagree with the ranking. If you guys like the video and you're not subscribed, please subscribe. If you are subscribed, I thank you for your subscription. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.